making content really does change your perspective on the media you consume. And this is going to be a very, quote unquote serious video where I just kind of talk about what making content has, how making content has affected the way I view the things I make content on. It's mainly going to focus around Tower of God, but also touching on anime, which is where I started my YouTube channel. And I say where I started, I still make anime content. Hell, it's still a majority of the content on my channel, and probably always will be. But I just want to talk about it because it was on my mind. I felt like, I want to just talk about it. So here we are with the video. And I'm not even going to, do the rock, paper, scissors thing. We're just going to get into this. So, let's start from the beginning with anime. So, when I started making videos on anime very early on, they were scripted videos, me trying to really get in there. And I think scripting the video, and you can obviously tell now I do not script my videos. But back then when I used to script them, it was a lot more effort, and I didn't really enjoy putting that effort in when it's a hobby. Anime for me was this thing that I got super obsessed with, because that's one thing with me. When I get really hooked on something, I get really obsessive, and anime is a very clear sign of that. I started watching anime in 2020. Well, I said just at the end of 2019, and within a year, I'd watched about 200 to 300 anime. I got so, and I mean, I did have a lot of free time because of the C19, but I got very, very hooked and obsessed with anime. And a very similar thing happened when I got into Tower of God, but we'll touch on that later, and more recently now with Purple Hyacinth. But again, we'll talk about those two later. And so I transitioned away from doing the scripted content and just started doing general, I'll kind of just splurge my opinion out, and I might miss points, but it'll feel more, genuine, more real than if I just script it and it's all rough and pre-planned. I didn't really like the scripted style. It didn't feel like what I wanted to do. And then I started, for a very brief period of time, I did a series of videos where I would review the entire week's, well, not all of them, but I'd review a majority of the season's episodes every week. So I'd watch the episodes, make notes on all of them, and then I would do a half scripted, half not scripted. So I'd go based off the notes I'd written and just do a rambly video talking about the episodes that come out in the previous week. And doing this really killed my enjoyment of a lot of shows. It made it so it was a lot harder to enjoy shows that I would normally just sit down and mindlessly watch and just enjoy. It was now, okay, I need to pay attention. Okay, yeah, this. And so I started not watching anime from a enjoyment perspective or a hobby perspective. It was now I can make content out of this. And I think that's it's something that will just happen to anyone that makes content on something they enjoy. But it's also not necessarily a healthy thing. And as such, I stopped doing those types of videos. I just dropped doing that. And I started to enjoy that season a lot more. Not to say that I didn't enjoy doing those videos, because I did when I was making them, because I enjoy the video making process and putting my thoughts into words and putting those into video form. But it definitely hindered my enjoyment while I was watching the shows, opposed to before, when I could enjoy both watching it and making a video on it if I did make a video talking about it. And now I just make videos of shows as and when I feel like them. After I watch them, I just sit down, maybe rewatch an old show that I've enjoyed in the past, and see if my opinion holds up nowadays. I've watched more shows and I've matured, quote unquote, matured a little bit. Not a lot has changed in reality, to be fair. Now my tastes have maybe been shaped differently, and see how my opinion changes, and then I put that into video form and try and be quote unquote objective while being incredibly subjective about it. And I much preferred that style of video, especially with the seasonal ones, where if I feel like making a video on something mid-season, I will, and I don't have to make notes constantly about it. I can just go on with my thoughts based on what I've been watching up until now. And that's what I've done with I don't know whether this will come out before or after the Overcast Naruto video, but that's the most recent example of me doing something like that. And so I've definitely gotten back the enjoyment of both watching anime. Let me make this very clear. I didn't start hating watching anime. I still very much loved it, but less so than before I started making those weekly episode reviews of all the shows. I definitely could not do that anymore. Or again, for me, it just wasn't where it was at. And then you know, I do what I do now, and then I got into Tower of God. I started reading it. I was like, you know what? I want to read Tower of God. It's been a while since I've watched a video on it. You know, it's been a good while since the anime came out. Let's read it. And then I made videos on it. And the style of videos I used to make, I say used to make, it's not really like it's been that long, where I'd read up like an arc, and then I'd make a video talking about the arc. And then I'd read the next arc, and then make a video. So I'd read big blocks of the story at a time. I'd get a huge digestible chunk that is relatively concise and together, and then I'd talk about it and upload it into a video. And I absolutely love that. It's a lot of fun. And I think if I were to choose what I'm doing now over that, I would definitely think I enjoy that more from the reading side of things, but from the production side of things and making the video and partaking in things, the stuff I'm doing now, I much prefer. Because now, with Season 3, I'm doing chapter readings. I read the chapters, I quote-unquote voice act in them. And that, in terms of making the video, is a hell of a lot more enjoyable. I get to, you know, put more personality into it. I get to, you know, project onto these characters the way I think they speak and the way they act and the like. Albeit I don't get to interject as much as I would with a type of video, but I think I will still do videos like that, like I used to when I finish the Cage arc where I am now. When I finish this, I will make a video talking about it in full. That's definitely something I'm going to do. But there's one thing that doing these readings has done. It has massively slowed down the speed at which I can read Tower of God and the way I can digest it. I read about 2 to 3 chapters a week, sometimes one. It depends on how I'm feeling for a video. Because I have to read for video, I have to record what I'm reading, and I don't want to skip stuff because it would feel awkward. I kind of have to wait between, like, a week between when I record and when I get to read again. So I get like 2 to 3 episodes, stop. 2 to 3 episodes, stop. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I sound super privileged with that, because with how Tower of God's gone on hiatus a handful of times during its runtime, some people waited months, years between chapters. So me saying, oh, I've got to wait a couple weeks between reading, it's so hard, makes me sound like a fucking whiny bitch, which I am. But it's definitely taking away from some of the enjoyment of reading the series as to when I was just binge reading it, just get through a whole bunch of it, just sit down, I can just absorb all of this and then just get everything out into a video. Now it's gradually coming out. I get bits and pieces here and there. I put some thoughts into it a little bit with, you know, my off comments as I'm reading. And eventually at the end of this arc there'll be a payoff of one big video of me discussing this entire arc in full. And I think reading Purple Hyacinth is something that has made me realize this at least a little bit. The first video I'm making on Purple Hyacinth will have come out, and that is a little bit of a spoiler. I will be doing a follow-up video on Purple Hyacinth now that I'm pretty much further through the story than I was when I made that first video. I'm now, as I'm recording this, about 120 chapters in. As when I recorded that video, I was only 20 chapters, and I've read another 100 chapters of Purple Hyacinth since recording that video, not even a week ago. But yes, as I was saying, and because I'm able to read Purple Hyacinth at my own pace and just, well, read like 10 chapters a day, 10, 20 chapters a day if I'm free and don't have anything to do, I think I'm enjoying Purple Hyacinth a hell of a lot more than I'm currently enjoying Tower of God. And that isn't necessarily to say because the story is better, although I do abso-fucking-lutely love Purple Hyacinth's story, and again, I'll talk about that more in the follow-up video to the one I've already made, that hasn't come out as of me recording this, but that's just the magic of scheduling uploads. Whereas Tower of God, I'm getting it in a lot slower pieces. Now, obviously, when I catch up, I'll be waiting a week for a single chapter instead of like 2 to 3. But shut up. We'll deal with that when we come to it. But that in itself will be a completely different experience, because I'll be, you know, reacting to these chapters as they come out instead of trying to play catch up like when I was reading Season 2, where I was quote-unquote playing catch-up while also enjoying it and trying to make videos on it. So, I don't know, it's one of these weird things where making content on a topic you enjoy will, in some way or another, take away from your enjoyment, but you will also get the enjoyment of making videos on it. And I still love Tower of God. Hell, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't be doing had I not started making videos on Tower of God. Like, I'm now interacting a bit more with the community and some Tower of God YouTubers. I mean, even right now, there's what you could call an event going on within the Tower of God community with Haku's popularity poll. And it's really fun to be a part of all of this now. It's not something I've ever really done. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't start making videos on Tower of God. So there are a lot of perks to doing stuff like this, but every cloud has a silver lining, or every silver cloud has a grey lining in this case, because there's a lot more positives than negatives. The only real negative is, yes, some of your enjoyment while, you know, indulging in what used to be, you know, an indulgence, a hobby, will be slightly reduced, but there'll be a much bigger payoff of a community to be a part of. The videos you make, if you do make videos, and that's probably one of my favourite things, is what I'm doing right now. Recording and just chatting shit, just spewing thoughts and what I'm feeling into a video. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I enjoy it a hell of a lot. And also, give me some more webtoon recommendations in the comments. I want to read more, so give me some. Anyway, this has been a weird video, but it won't really affect the channel in any way. Everything will continue as it normally has. But yeah, I just kind of felt like making a video like this. Every now and then, maybe we'll do something like this where I'm a bit more quote-unquote serious. I talk about like a, I don't know. I don't even know what you'd call this type of video. But yeah, anyway, I've been Animosity. You've been you. I hope it's time for another video. Ta-ta. For now.